Give me a hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah.
Ooh, you know what time it is.
Give me a hell yeah.
Ooh, you know what time it is.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings. Big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the theme. So do it for Deuce and Mo.
We are live! Day one of King's Training Camp is in the books. How the hell are we tonight? We'll be talking to you once this podcast starts. We're going to be on Twitter Spaces. We're going to be on Discord talking to people. Let's get it going.
What up, dude?
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Morgan.
Hello.
I'm rooting for y'all.
We love you.
Favorite team of all time?
Let's go, Kane.
Do you like the addition of the Mike Brown scream?
Yeah, but I don't feel like you can just use it all the time. You know, but I like no. Deuce, don't get butthurt. I said yes.
So when's it appropriate to use it in Morgan
When we're
Reagan's
hyped.
world?
When we're hyped.
I'm sorry. Every podcast, I'm a little. Everyone, I'm hyped. It's a new opportunity.
I can't wait for you to say that after a terrible loss and you're playing. Ah!
Yeah, that's when it turns a little angry.
Oh, I see. So. Yeah, I see. It's just how you perceive it. Okay, I like it.
Hey, shout out to people here. Shout out to Row Rebounds. They do some great
Hey.
work on their channel. B3 well. Or it's just be well. Maybe that's the 3 threw me off. Mrs. Mack in the house. What's up, Sean, Joe? Appreciate everyone being here. Shout out to everyone on YouTube and Twitch. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe. If you're on Twitch, hit the follow button. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can literally subscribe for free. That's cool. And then for the people on Twitter Spaces, once we get going here, request to talk. We'll talk to you tonight. All right? Do some more. Coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo.
You cut off the beginning of that.
Oh, come on. That was barely anything. I just said, oh.
Yeah, over the Deuce and Mo. Like, you don't think that's, you think that's good?
I don't think it's that bad. But please, proceed.
Coming down in 3, in 2, in 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Hey, welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast. Recording this on a Tuesday night. Day 1 of King's training camp is in the books. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
I'm fantastic tonight. What night is it? Tuesday night?
Just said it's Tuesday night. Yeah,
Tuesday
absolutely.
night? Yeah, feeling good. I'm already losing track of the days.
That's what happens during the NBA season. You don't know what day it is. It's
I
all
know.
good.
I know.
We were at King's practice today. We'll tell you what we saw, what we heard, all of that. We got some King's topics to hit on. We will talk to people on Discord and on Twitter Spaces as well. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. Because we have all the chatter open. What?
Morgan put out a day in the life yesterday from King's Media Day.
Yeah.
And the biggest takeaway, I think, for most is that you have a pit sweat issue.
You know what? It's not even an issue. You guys, I don't even sweat that much all the time. It could be 90 degrees and I'm in a crew neck and I'm not sweating. It's more like when I'm wearing something tight and it's a color. It's like my body.
But in the video, you put like pads underneath.
Paper towels. And then
You just folded up
but then
paper
I took them out. So then by the time I was like, damn it, why am I sweating? You know, so I know there's a few tricks. And if anyone wants to put money in this fund, you're more than welcome to. You can get Botox in your armpits to stop the sweat. So if anyone wants to pay for.
You're telling me.
Yes. Yeah.
You
Look
would
it
like-
up.
Yeah, but that's something you would do.
Hell yeah. Are you kidding me?
How many shots in the armpit?
I don't know.
But I'm sorry. There's just something, and I get it. I'm sorry if I'm gonna offend it. No, I'm not gonna offend anyone in our audience.
No.
The Botox thing, I'm just not gonna ever understand. I'm sorry. Like it's weird. You see people, their heads are all shiny.
But what about if it could stop you from sweating?
Deal with it, okay? You don't need the shots in the armpit.
Are you kidding? If I had the finances to put shots in my armpit so I wouldn't have to sweat when talking to people, like in a tighter dress, yeah.
Does Morgan sound like a real housewife of Beverly Hills right now, talking about how she would love to be able to do that?
They get like gold injected into their armpits. Are you kidding me?
There's no one listening right now that is going, I'm with Morgan. And I trust me, I love the chat to say it. I love Twitter Spaces, Discord. I like the people after hit us up with an email. There is no one out there listening tonight that relates to what you are saying.
Yes, Kenneth does though. He goes, Botox Pit Funds, and he donates $50. Thanks, Kenneth. Appreciate the donation. But I love it. Kings fan sneak says Mo is changing. And then I got a few. I'm with Morgan, but I also see sweat is natural. Don't be ashamed. And that's why I'm definitely not ashamed. Trust me, that's why I talk about it and I don't give a damn. And so many people are like, ew, you're gross. Don't care. But the only thing is when it becomes annoying or like it's like you can't wear certain shirts or dresses on TV because you sweat in them. It just gets a little hard. Like, it gets so
Thanks
hard.
for
I
the
have to pick
breakdown.
out a whole bunch of black T-shirts now.
So if you do want to see Morgan's kind of behind the day of Media Day for herself, check it out on our YouTube page, youtube.com/DeuceMo podcast after this podcast. Morgan, day one of training camp is in the books, and, you know, the media doesn't get to see a lot. Let's be honest about it. It's not like all the media people are sitting there and watching every single thing happening. Here's what we do know. I think it was scheduled for media availability at 11:30. It did go long, and they were practicing. I mean, it went pretty long. I think we got in there around 1. What was cool is we did get to see a little more. I feel like in past years, when you go in, it's like at the very end, and there's maybe a couple of guys shooting free throws. Maybe there is, I mean, it's really just free throws and like shooting after. Guys kind of lingering, leaving. They do their media, and they're out.
Yeah.
We actually got to see a little bit today. It was kind of entertaining, right? They had a free throw contest where the guys went baseline. They had a lineup baseline.
It's not even a contest, right? It's like, hey, you make the basket, you don't have to run. Like, that's what coaches do at the end of practices. And what I love about this, Deuce, is that I was telling you that when I will never forget when George Karl was here, and I asked George Karl, like, oh, well, do you make the guys run, like, as discipline or something? And it was like, no, not at this level. And then you see Mike Brown making guys run. It's discipline. You're missing shots. We're going to run. We're going to sprint.
And just to be clear, when Morgan just totally dismissed it, calling it a contest, it was definitely a contest. There was a little gamesmanship between the coaches and the players. Just to be clear, you just totally crapped on me. Why are you getting offended by me saying I got crapped on?
Are you being sensitive?
3 players more. All the players. I was trying to paint a picture for the people. That's all I was doing. We were there at training camp. The players line up baseline. Mike Brown calls out a player. They have to hit 2 free throws. They miss 1. Everyone runs. Everyone runs together. I thought it was kind of cool. At the very end, he said, all right, Alex Len, if you hit these 2 free throws, it's done, and the coaches have to run. Len knocked down both free throws. I wasn't going to take much away from that per se.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see a glimpse, and also the frustration of guys missing free throws, because a lot of guys were missing free throws. There was a lot of running.
Yeah. And that's, what you like to see, obviously, in basketball at all levels, right? Is the simple fundamentals, and watching the guys go through this, and after a hard day, one of a physical training camp, have to run at the end. You just want your teammates to make those shots. And sometimes, I mean, I don't know about you, and I'm sure other people can relate, but there's people that get pissed off at those teammates, and you hit that adversity, and you're just like, come on, man, you got to make that. It's a free throw. But instead, you weren't seeing heads hung, and you weren't seeing guys getting mad at each other. Day one training camp.
That's exactly
it.
It's,
good spirits.
You do that day 4 when, like, you've had a lot of running, a lot of just, like, using brain power, because today was so much of, like, the first day of school where you get your syllabus, you're going over some things, then you get cooking a little bit. And that's what happened today. Like, they went over a lot of terminology. They went over a lot of things, what to expect from the staff and all that. And then they got to work. But, you start doing that day 4, guys might get a little bit irritated. But
yeah, it could. I mean, it could happen. But at the same time, it's like, if that happens in training camp,
that's
cool.
Great.
Guys are just getting competitive and feeling it all. And, when you're tired, like, how do you respond? And that was the main thing. Even Mike Brown was talking about the pressure of those free throws, and he's like, I would think that there's more pressure, obviously, when there's 0.5 left on the clock, and you're trying to make, like, that's why we do this. Media comes in, okay, a little bit more added pressure, right? You got this little new crowd coming in, watching you trying to make these free throws, even though they're used to 20,000 people watching them make free throws. I don't know, sometimes that intimate setting can, like, F with people.
And one of the things he was telling the players, like, in between free throws, is like, these are things you're going to have to do. We're going to have to be playing late in game situations. You're in double overtime. You're in overtime, whatever. You got to be able to make free throws when you're exhausted.
Yeah. And that's what they were trying to do, and that's when it's hardest to make
Let's
those.
also note we spent far too much time breaking down a simple free throw thing that we saw.
Can I be honest, though, why we broke it down? because you're so right. We don't usually get to see much. We
Yeah.
get to see we get to see guys just shooting around at the end of practice, and it's like, okay, great. You like seeing some of these situations and seeing how a coach wants to coach. It's a tiny glimpse, but I liked what we saw.
Yeah, in the brief, I don't know, what was that, maybe 10 minutes we got to see? 10, 15?
Yeah, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did make a few people available. Mike Brown, the head coach of the Sacramento Kings, talked to the media. So did Kevin Heurter and rookie Keegan Murray after his first practice in the NBA. He was asked right away about all the shots he was making after. He said after he made 117 out of 150 threes.
And he said it so calmly, too.
Yeah, and I love that he knows exactly how many threes he made. But he said during that, they're just shooting around. It's not like he's being defended.
Right.
That would be insane.
Right.
But the goal is to shoot 75%. That's what, 78%. The other thing that jumped out just in that one, we know he could shoot a little bit, but he did say he was asked about his wrist. Remember, he had the surgery after summer league. Someone asked him, I think, is it at 75%? He says it's close to 100%.
Awesome. I mean,
good.
yeah, you want to hear that. And he looked good in the moments we were watching him shoot without anyone defending him.
Also, he was asked about his role. Here's what he had to say.
Everything has to be earned for me. I'm not taking anything for granted. I know nothing's going to come easy for me here or when we play the other NBA teams. So I know that I have to earn everything that I'm given, and I'm willing to work for that.
Just a robot, dude. He just program this guy, be really good, work hard, like even keel.
But he's sweet too.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
he's
that's not me shitting on the guy.
Yeah.
It's like of course, like you want your guys to say the right things and stuff. And like,
Yeah.
okay, he's a rookie. I gotta earn my stuff. But some guys, when you're a lottery pick, you're like, yeah, I'm starting. Are you kidding me? Yeah. He's like, I just gotta earn it. I gotta win the job.
Yeah, it's got to be earned. Everything's got to be earned. I'm like, you are the typical athlete that so many people want to hear at the podium, that so many people won't get mad about. You know what I mean? It's just drama free. And I'm not acting like that's the way that everyone should be, because I enjoy different personalities. I enjoy vulnerability, but I also enjoy zero drama at a time like this. It's great.
Yeah, I'm just kind of the same way, whether we win or lose. And
Do you?
I'm trying to work on my Keegan. What was that? No?
Try it again.
Yeah, I just you go out there and I got to win the job. I can't. I don't have it. I'll keep working on it, guys. I know everyone is like, Deuce, I really need you to debut a Keegan Murray.
They're asking for it.
But yeah, I'm excited to see him play. Like you saw him in the summer league. Preseason is in less than a week, and I'm glad the wrist thing doesn't seem to be an issue. Like the fact that he said, he made 117 of 150, but the thing he said is he wouldn't have been able to do that 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So there's clearly been some progress made over the last few weeks.
Absolutely. And like I said, it looked solid, not defended. It just looked like a nice shot over there in that corner. It was fun. Even that, Deuce, I'm not acting like that pumped me up, but it's fun. It's fun to see your rookie just have such a nice shot. You're just
Getting
like
pumped up over guys not getting on shots at practice.
no, not even at
You
practice.
say I'm
With
crazy.
a zero hands in their face,
yeah.
zero defense. Yeah, it's bad.
Mike Brown also talked today about the first day of camp, and someone asked him if he has an idea of where he sees some of these guys on the roster, what their roles could be. Here's what he had to say.
Everybody's had an individual player development meeting already in the off season, so everybody has a general feel of what we are looking for from each guy individually, hopefully coinciding with what our team goals are.
All right, cool. Communication. I don't know if you see what's going on in Phoenix right now. I would say communication key. We're going to talk about the Suns in a while because holy shit, this whole DeAndre Ayton, Monty Williams thing, the fact that they have not apparently communicated since Game 7 against Dallas. Sorry. That is weird.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Makes me uncomfortable.
yeah, so obviously they met with the players before the season, the Kings did, and probably said, this is what we see, this is what we want you to work on, this is the opportunity you may have here. And that's good. You want your guys to know what the hell they're walking into.
Yeah. I I don't know how communication has been before every single Sacramento Kings season. Like there's times where it's like, even with Luke Walton, that you'd hear with all the drama that was going on with Buddy Hield, you still hear that they were communicating, right? When they were being asked that question, like there was communication. It's great when there's the type of communication here in this season that you don't have to talk about the drama first and then what needs to happen on the floor. It's like what's happening on the floor is the communication.
So he also, so he talked about the roles. Other stuff that jumped out to me today, Keegan was just talking about his ability to cut and working on chemistry with Sabonis. Kevin Heurter also talked about the first practice. Said, it was pretty intense.
First day, it's always high intensity. It's physical. Guys have a lot of energy. Guys are excited to get going. It's really going to matter how we feel on Thursday, how we feel on Saturday, and obviously how we feel first preseason game.
Can I get to one media thing for a sec?
Please do.
It's not just exclusive to Sacramento.
Okay.
But I know like all the reporters, like we're all there to ask questions and get to know stuff.
Yeah.
But it does make me laugh how like intense we get with day one. Like, hey, how'd this guy look?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just getting going. I mean, I don't know. It's day one. Are we going to be like, hey, I'll tell you what, the star of day one of there's no headline I despise more in sports during training camp. This guy was the star of day one of training camp. There's buzz around this guy. Great first day of camp. Well, good. It's one day. It's the first day out of all days. I hope everyone's ready to go and playing hard. And yeah, it could be sloppy at times, but yes, everyone should be engaged and ready to go.
And Kevin Heurter did talk about that too. Just like, hey, day one, guys are excited to be back on the floor
How's
and
the
play
vibe?
with each other. Like, right? Like,
How's the chemistry?
But my only thing is too, because Deuce is not wrong, but I can't talk shit because I'm not one that asks a lot of questions at all ever. So, but yes, I do wish that some questions I would prefer if they were different.
The one question that was interesting that was asked today to Kevin Heurter was, what is the offensive potential with this group? Here's what he had to say.
Potentially, really no reason for us offensively not to be towards the top of the league on that end of the court. Just the personnel we have and the guys who can just go one-on-one matchups, guys who can space the floor for those people. I think we got a lot of different guys that do a lot of different things and just putting them all together.
I think he's right with what he says. I think there's no doubt in my mind that this team should be really good offensively. It would be disappointing if they weren't. Like that's an area where you go, well, you've added some shooting around Fox. You got Fox. You have Sabonis. You've got some scoring on this team. You've got some guys who can knock down the three. Harrison Barnes, been a 40% three-point shooter for most of his Kings career.
You know I'm a wait and see type of person, but you
Yeah.
know what you have in some of these individuals and what they're capable of as playmakers, what they're capable of as shooters. There's a lot within this roster that just makes sense for this team to be solid offensively. And I think that even goes to what they have with their depth, right? It's not just like a whole bunch of defensive guys that can't add on the other end of the floor. It's like there's real offensive potential here for this King squad, and I'm glad that it's getting noticed by their own guys.
Do you think that this team has like a consistent number 3 option, or is that going to just depend on the night? Because, Fox and Sabonis are your guys. I think sometimes could it be Harrison Barnes? But I think with this team, it's kind of open-ended. And because I just think again, you have guys out on any given night. I think Malik Mon, who can come in and drop you 20-plus points. Kevin Heurter, Barnes, Mitchell.
This question for me is
Yeah.
truly a wait and see. And the reason why, because you're absolutely right. When you mention Monk, Heurter, Barnes, I think of all 3 of those names. But I also am like, who Barnes in the past has had to do so much. So is he going to do things, add and contribute differently? Is Monk going to be that third primary scorer because he's cutting off the ball, because he's relocating when De'Aaron's driving in, they have that chemistry? Or is it going to be Heurter because we've seen what he can do with his size and the type of shooter he is? So I feel like that's a wait and see question for me.
So I asked the chat, and they did not click wait and think. I'm not a coward as an option. The question was, who do you think the Kings' third option will be?
Okay.
The options were Keegan Murray, Kevin Heurter, Harrison Barnes, and other.
Comment in the chat.
Keegan Murray leading the early voting at 38%, Kevin Heurter at 27%, and Harrison Barnes at 32%.
People are making fun of me for the wait and see, wait and wait and wait.
Yeah.
You guys are such assholes.
I don't think I could sit here today and be like, this guy is for sure. I don't think it's going to be Keegan Murray. I if it is, awesome.
Great.
Bow down. I would love it. I'm not saying he's capable. I just think putting that type of pressure on a rookie, I don't think that is the case.
Yeah.
But he, at the same time, you know one thing, he doesn't need the ball in his hands. He doesn't have to dominate. He could just catch and shoot.
Hey, Deuce.
And you could go, oh, wow, he got to the free throw line too? How did this guy just get 15 points on 4 shots?
Didn't someone else say that the other day? Or
I
something?
don't know.
I feel like you were talking to someone and they said that to you, or something happened with that conversation with Keegan Murray. But yeah, I don't see, if that was to happen, really good things are going to be happening for this team if that's coming out of your rookie and your rookie is contributing that as that, third scorer or however you want to put it. So it would be a positive thing, but can I wait and see?
Yeah, I think Kevin Heurter I think he's going to be able to show a little more with the Kings this year too. And I just think there is a clear benefit offensively when you have a player like Sabonis. He is just going to make life easier from everyone. And it's obviously, I know he can score. We know this. But just him being the scoring threat, but being such a gifted and willing passer. Like, there are guys who could pass that don't really like to pass either. The guy wants to get his team involved. And I think having that type of balance is a really good thing.
So many people look past making other guys better when they look at individual play at times. I know we'll talk about this later, but Ben Simmons basically talked about that with himself and how he wants to be the guy that makes people better, even if he's not that primary shooter. Sabonis is capable of dominating the boards, dominating down low in the paint on the offensive end, and also being a high-level playmaker. With this team and the pieces that they have, there's going to be a lot of good things that just come from Sabonis even when he's not scoring. And
I do agree with what JG is saying in the chat. This is a year ago. Our conversation about this would have been different. We would have to pick a single third option. He says now we have options galore, and it goes to the depth.
Great point, JG.
I think it's a good thing. I just think, there are certain guys in the league, and I like bigs who could pass. I think growing up in Sacramento with Weber and Vlade and Brad Miller, you just love that type of basketball.
Sexy.
That's why I love watching Jokic, these big dudes making plays and Embiid. Like, it's fun to watch.
Yes.
And Sabonis is up there too with me as a guy that wants to get others involved. And I am just looking forward to this year not seeing a stagnant offense. I want the off-ball movement. I want to see De'Aaron Fox with awesome backdoor cuts. I don't want to see predictability. I don't want to just say, hey, 5 out. Let's just give me some motion.
Yeah.
Give me some back screens. Give me some fun.
Well, that's what I was even going to say with the the back screens alone. Like, you talk about Sabonis and what he's capable of, his body and the type of screen he can set too. And then if you set that standard, others are going to follow. I mean, you love a good screen in this league, especially if it's the one that gets you that bucket or if it's the one that creates the right play on the offensive end. So I hope that Mike Brown just keeps implementing this team mentality, and I think this team can execute it.
Yeah, I'm ready to see what it looks like.
Yeah. No shit, because I'm talking about Keegan Murray shooting in a corner with no defense on him. Yeah, I'm ready. Come on.
Hey, well, let's leave the show talk about the free throw contest we saw. Can I just rewinding on this as we break down the podcast mid-podcast?
Yeah, what?
And my thought process there in starting with that was like, hey, let's give a behind the scenes of what we saw today. But I'm like, now that we talked about it, I'm like, did anyone really care about that? Was that really worth bringing to the table? Hey, guys, there's a free throw thing, and they ran.
Okay.
It's training camp. Of course they're running. Of course there should be standards and all.
Can I just say why it was worth bringing up? Because you and I were watching it in
Okay.
person. I mean, we were just we
That's
have
fair.
not
That's
had
fair.
a full blown conversation about it, and so we're having it now with 2 microphones in our face and a camera on.
I just wanted to be clear that I wasn't trying to make it as if it was some large thing that's, hey, see that the culture's changing? Like, I'm not doing that. Anything crazy like that. I don't.
Just because we're talking about the things we're talking about the last 2 days doesn't mean we're acting like this team is a championship caliber team. I'm not even saying this team is a playoff team. So understand when we're talking about the things we're talking about, we're just excited and we're seeing it in person.
Shout out to the people watching us live, including everyone on Twitch. Sarcasm City TV rated us. It's been a while since we've seen those guys. Appreciate their raid
Thanks,
on
guys.
Twitch. Make sure to hit the follow button there. If you're in the YouTube chat, the biggest thing you can do right now is hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed. It just helps our channel grow. Shout out to everyone for being here tonight. If you're in Twitter Spaces and you want to chat, feel free to request. We'll take some calls as we move on throughout the night on Night Chats. What, Morgan? Why'd you
Just
laugh
your
at me?
thought. It's so funny because it is so true. I do keep hearing when I'm listening to other podcasts and people talk, but people are mostly talking about the drama that's going on with all these teams, and
A lot
that's
of drama.
and that's what is like the big thing being talked about. So when there's other things you're excited about, you're allowed to just have conversations. But we're talking
Okay,
about a whole
fair
bunch
enough.
of
I just
basketball
look. I'm
fans.
just. This is what we do. We
Yeah.
just talk, man. It's night chat. We're hanging out.
Facts.
Let's go to some other people in the chat, including Don, who says watching from the Philippines today. Shout Philippines.
Appreciate you.
Gabriel says we definitely love the behind the scenes recap, even if it's just a free throw contest.
There you go.
Contest in quotes.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Son
don't want
of a gun.
to piss anyone off.
Let's go to a Twitter Spaces call, and then we'll get to some other stuff too.
Okay.
Let's start tonight with Christian. What's up, Christian? Oh, hang on, Christian. We have an issue on Twitter
Oh.
Spaces. I wish someone would have said this earlier on Twitter Space. Are they even hearing me? I connected it Bluetooth, so I don't know. Christian, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, it's coming through my phone for some bizarre reason.
What the shit?
So you guys have been listening on Twitter Spaces of just my phone audio. It sounds terrible. I don't know how to figure this out right now.
Then don't. Just leave them on Twitter.
Christian, let them talk into the mic. Just talk right now. Let me see how this sounds.
Can I just say that having Mike Brown yell actually inspired me to think that this team can be really good this year?
I love and hate that comment so much, Christian. You're saying him screaming "Let's go" or that other sound that we were playing earlier that you probably can't hear. That fired you up. It made you believe.
That's the most fired up I've ever seen a head coach on any team, much less the first day of training camp. So I'm just excited. I mean, he sounds like he wants to be here. We have a lot of good players this year. They went out and got people in free agency. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes up.
No, dude. I like your optimism, man. I'm glad you're feeling it.
I mean, hey, you're a Kings fan for 22 years, and you're looking for something great. And I think I honestly, no matter what happens throughout the season, I think this is going to be a great year.
Wow. Christian, I appreciate you checking in, man.
Of course, you guys do your thing, and Mo, wait and see. Hopefully, that won't be until April or June or next training camp.
Come on. You know I'm like 10 to 20 games in, and I can like really make my predictions.
Just call her a coward. It's fine.
You guys have a good night.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Hopefully that
so
won't
I'm gonna
be
try to go
until,
over this. I don't know if it's gonna
April
work.
or June
I
or
am
next
trying to
training
join
camp.
it on my
Come on. You know I'm like wow.
Let's see.
Interesting
I'll leave
technology.
here. I'll leave
Just
here.
call her a coward. It's fine.
You guys have a good night.
Twitter
All right,
Spaces.
see
Hopefully you can still hear me.
So I'm gonna try to go over.
Okay. It should be
Gonna work.
routed right
I am
now. but
trying to join it on my computer.
You guys, this is not my night.
For you, tech wise,
I don't know why it would do this. I have so much editing to do in the post audio.
why
now.
don't you just like tell everyone to come to YouTube then? Or Discord. Because also if you're on Discord, you can
There's a
always make
learning curve
calls.
there too.
Yeah, what'd you learn?
Let's see here. Okay. I can't figure it out right now.
Don't even worry about it.
Our one call of the night, unless you go on Discord. Anyway.
Sorry, guys.
Where were we? Let's go to Christian, who
who we just had on.
that gets him amped up.
That gets you amped up.
I mean, it gets me. I mean, he is really excited about the team. What did you think about his reaction? How that hit with him?
So, seeing him in the scrum today, he's such a smiley guy, but I also loved that he seems real when there's a question or something that he may not want to answer and or is just kind of like, what's that question? Like he's not mean about it. He's just real. Like he's not going to fake smile at you and be like, oh yeah, it's actually this. But I appreciate about that. I think he's real. And that's something that we've heard from multiple people as we head into this season.
Yeah. And we don't like phonies.
We don't like phonies.
No, but honestly, he seems just like a normal, real guy. He's real with the players, real with the media. He's just a good guy. I mean, we talked to a lot of people in Las Vegas and people who've covered the Warriors over the last, 5 years he's been there, or however long he was there, and they rave about the guy. So,
did you take anything away from even today?
No.
Okay.
I mean, is that weird to say that?
No, not at all. I was just curious.
What can you take away in a 10-minute thing you saw?
Sure.
Right? There's things that maybe a player says, oh, that was interesting, but I'm not going, man, this feels different. I think I have fallen into that trap before.
Ooh.
No, I have. And it's just
you have.
It's also just you're doing this for so long and you go, oh, it's just the first day. Like, it's...
Sure.
Let's, not to be like Morgan here, but let's wait and see a bit here.
No, the tables have turned.
It's not, because I'm still like making actual predictions about how I think this team could be this year. But my point is, like, people ask about vibes and all that. Vibes should be good. It's the start. You haven't even played a game yet, let alone lost a game yet, let alone lost 3 in a row. And that's when you learn about teams. It's not like guys just get mad at each other, but it's like, all right, how the coaches handle some tough times. Well, how's the accountability then? How the players hold themselves accountable, right? Like how they fight through the adversity.
I agree with all of this, but I also, like, look at us. The last 2 days, we're so excited to be podcasting again, to literally dissect everything that we are soaking in. And we try not to get overly excited about certain little things, like Keegan Murray shooting in the corner with no hand in his face, making 117 out of 153s with no defense. But we still get a little bit excited, and that's okay. As long as you're realistic about it and don't think that Keegan Murray's going to be the MVP of the NBA because he made 117 threes out of 150.
Right.
That's it.
fair.
Okay.
Oh, that's fair.
Great breakdown.
I mean, be excited. I'm excited for the season. Absolutely. This is the most talented Kings team in a long time. It's hard to take a lot out of just training camp as a whole when you don't get to see that much of it and you're just talking to in a scrum of people, players and a coach. God, you can only pick up so much. Now you can pick up if something's really bad, like what we're seeing in Phoenix right now, for sure. But like happiness, I don't know. I think that's tough to discern at this point.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. But it's also fine that at media day we felt a different vibe than what we usually felt.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Like
what? I'm not just saying that. Like,
I mean, have you gone to a media day where it's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Where he just like was not, like, you just felt belittled and you just felt.
But okay, good. I would say that.
And when that feeling, I felt that toward rookies and other people, like within the organization and on his team, that he was making feel like that.
Okay, well, I mean that's fine, but I just, to me, this media day, it didn't feel different than a one I've been at before. Like,
Okay.
so I mean, it didn't feel bad. Do you know what I mean? All I'm saying, look at last year, Morgan. I'm just telling you, last year when those Tristan Thompson videos out, all the hype. Stop it! I was not hyping that up.
You were not. No, I'm
kidding me?
saying I'm not saying you were hyping that up, but I'm saying you were excited. You were excited, and I was just
Well, I
like,
get
wait and see.
Okay, I also get excited every year. I like basketball. I'm sorry. Should I apologize for that? All I'm saying is it just doesn't. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, hey man, telling you the vibes are different. No, it seems like guys are happy right now, as they should be. Seems like Mike Brown brings a great energy, which I like. You know,
Standard.
Okay, yeah. Again, we haven't played games yet. Okay, so I believe that, but we haven't played games yet. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not gonna have
Sound like me. That's okay.
No, I'm not gonna have bold proclamations.
I like it.
About what I have viewed in a media day session in training camp, as if that like is going to dictate where the season goes. I'm just not gonna overthink it. Were the vibes bad? No, the vibes seemed great yesterday. I don't know what that means. Is that fair? Am I crazy?
You know what? You said this to me. You said, hey, here's my media day rules. If the vibes are good, okay, whatever. If the vibes are bad, shit's going down, and that sucks. And there's vibes going bad in Phoenix, in Boston,
Yeah.
in Brooklyn. And I'm just so excited. None of those names or cities are Sacramento, because we've been on that side of things for far too long. And I'm
No, it's
like,
fine.
it's so true. It's like it became part of the standard, and now it's like, not us.
Clint in the chat says you and Mo need to make a season win total bet. Hector says I need Deuce to scream like Mike Brown. Steven says Deuce is a dreamer. Don't stop believing,
Aww.
Deuce. Thank you,
Yeah.
Steven. That's probably the nicest thing you've ever said to me in the chat.
Maybe.
Usually it's like shot after shot, you know.
Deserved, usually.
Yeah. I know we went in the huge circle there. I don't want that to come across like I'm like being dismissive of where the Kings are at. I don't know.
Nobody is saying you are. I think it's just realistic of you. I like it.
Are we supposed to take more from this? Like, do you?
No, and that's why even when I asked you, I'm like, oh, did you? Because you kind of asked me, what'd you think of Mike Brown today, even, and just in general. And I was just going off of today, being there in person, being in that scrum with him, and my takeaways weren't dramatic.
Yeah.
So when I threw it back on you, you're fine. You didn't have to take anything away.
Let's talk about something that the NBA is taking away, and it's a cheap fast break foul.
I'm so happy about this.
The transition take foul. It's official. The league announced it, and this is great. We've seen it more and more over the last few years where there's a fast break opportunity. The defender makes zero play on the ball. It just wraps up the offensive player. It's
Ridiculous.
a foul.
Yeah.
They're just trying to stop a fast break. And the league was like, okay, this is irritating. Fans don't like it, one. It prevents fast breaks from happening. It's not really a basketball play. So now, if that happens, if the defender does not make a play on the ball, and this could happen off the ball too, like the guy with there could be a guy without the ball to get fouled and
wrap up.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
But if you're not making a basketball play, that's going to be a transition take foul. You're going to get one shot and possession, and anyone could take the free throw. The team that gets fouled gets to choose the person to take the free throw.
Love it.
I like this rule a lot. I just wonder how impactful it's going to be in the NBA, because I do think players and coaches are so quick to adjust. I asked Mike Brown about it today, and he was like, yeah, we're just going to really encourage our guys. Like, we could still have an impact. Just go for the ball.
Yeah.
And if you just even if you're going to foul him, just go for the ball.
Yep. No matter what.
They're not going to call transition take foul in that instance. Like, you're making a play on the ball, whatever, and maybe you'll knock it loose, but you'll foul him and stop the break.
I love it because it really creates this, like, you have to play defense. You have to.
But you could still go for the ball and foul the shit out of someone. Like, I feel like it's going to be tough for officials at times to kind of differentiate. Like, because teams are going to evolve it. They're going to, fine, we can't wrap them up, but we could still just
We can
stop the
hack the
break.
shit
we're
out of
we're gonna
them
foul
or-
them.
Yeah.
Take the foul. Just make a play on the ball. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. I don't get I understand. I understand there's so many players and coaches in this league with every single thing, every single new rule. They want to manipulate it or find a way around it. We've seen it happen on both ends of the floor,
Yeah.
right? So I get that. But with this one, think about, was it the that sounds stupid, but whatever. I think it was the Summer League game with Orlando and when the Kings were down, and it was fun seeing them not stop playing. Like, they didn't stop playing. They kept playing defense, even though it was like, there's no way things are going to happen for them. They shove it into the overtime, sudden death, and all of that. But my point is, how much more fun was that game because they actually had to play defense at the end and weren't just trying to stop the clock or stop a fast break. I just think there's going to be some good things that come from it.
Now that rule does go away in the final 2 minutes and in overtime.
And I love that too, because then that helps guys toward the end of the game stop the clock when they need to and still have that go on.
Yeah, it's the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter or overtime on that rule. I did want to show one thing, and like, this was insane. I didn't even realize this stat today. This was crazy. Once that rule was being talked about on social media, someone put this out, and it was the most non-shooting fouls drawn as a person pushing the ball up the court in transition during last season. Number 1 in the league, Trae Young. Number 2, De'Aaron Fox.
Crazy.
Yeah. I didn't think he'd be number 2.
Yeah.
But damn, like, that's okay. That's cool.
Uh-huh.
Giannis was 3rd, tied with Donovan Mitchell, Russell Westbrook. Then you had Booker, Curry, Morant, Jordan Poole, and Julius Randle.
Like,
tied for 6.
Again, I could picture De'Aaron Fox being in the top 10 or whatever, because of his speed, his ability to be so quick and push the ball. Like, that was the only way for some people to stop them. Same thing, you see Russell Westbrook there. We've talked about his speed for years. He still has a quickness to his game where people are like, yep, going for them. They have the ball. They're the quick one. Stop them before they can create anything. So hopefully this leads to De'Aaron Fox using his speed to create in those situations.
Yeah. So here's the question. If you're like Mike Brown, that happens early in the season. If De'Aaron gets fouled like that, do you let him shoot the free throw? Or do you go, I need my best free throw shooter at all times shooting that free throw?
Probably the best free throw shooter.
No, you let De'Aaron do it.
I mean, if De'Aaron...
I feel like I'm curious how coaches rule that, right?
Yeah. I think it depends on who your best free throw shooter is.
The guy usually getting out and going like that is like usually one of your guys.
Usually.
Your guys gonna get pissed at you if you don't put him at the line, right?
No. I mean, think about someone like Buddy Hield. He used to just go. Like, there was no even question. He didn't care if he was told, no, don't go. He was just going to go. I don't see there being a guy like that on this squad. But at the same time, I think when you are the best free throw shooter on the floor, you know it and your team knows it, and that's why you go.
I need to get some comments in the chat, including Joseph, Armstrong Joseph, who says, Deuce, please tell me you cut your hair again, and this isn't the total growth since you shaved your hair. Guys, are we being serious here? You think since April that this would be as much...
Why'd you bring this up, Armstrong
No,
Joseph?
my hair, I kept shaving.
I know,
you
now
what
we
I
have to
realized?
see your fade.
I realized, wow, I pulled off.
There we go.
I could get some more modeling gigs out of this because I'm changing my look up,
You'll have to fix the bags under your eyes first.
I started my skincare routine again.
Yes, thank you.
It's been about a week.
That's good.
My
Better
face
than
is
nothing.
burning.
If you're out there and you don't put some skincare on your face, do it. Put some SPF on that shit. Let's go.
Dude.
It's so much better
I got
for your
this
skin.
cream. I'm doing a morning face wash, morning face cream. Then at night, the face wash again. And then I'm doing this nighttime cream that's like, hey, only one pump. Because I think and do it every other day because it burns the hell out of your
Probably
face.
has retinol.
And I'm doing a pump under the bags under my eyes. Like this.
So you can get those modeling gigs.
Yeah, obviously.
They should be a
So
podcast
instead of
sponsor.
injecting, I don't want to inject my face with, I don't know, Botox like you. Oh.
Right under my pits. That's
Hell
my
no.
goal.
Hell no. No, this hair is legit. Oh, man. Let's get to some other people. I saw another one. Oh, Cool says, I caught D-Lo and Casey live. Then I saw the Kings beat live. And now Night Chat with Deuce and Mo. The trifecta. My Kings fandom is cracking today.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, dude.
Appreciate all the love. Hey, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. We got to talk about some NBA topics. We'll get to some of your questions as well. We should mention that tonight's podcast presented by our friends over at East Sac Fitness. Oh, with the season here, I had to lock in early. Trying to get back into a routine. I've been going strong for like 2.5 months now. So now once the season starts, I'm not going to fall off.
No.
I could be tired. It doesn't matter. Let's go. You can do the same because ESAC Fitness has classes, functional fitness. They've got yoga. They've got spin. And they just have a gym too. Amazing equipment, a recovery room. It's all at ESAC Fitness. Check out their website, eastsacfitness.com. You can also give them a call at 916-599-3181. Get ripped.
Get ripped.
Like Deuce Mace.
Oh, here we go. And get your skin right at the same time.
Also, shout out to Joey Reagan over at Lion Real Estate. If you're looking to purchase a house, this is the guy to hit up, especially in the Sacramento area. He's super passionate about Sacramento. One of the coolest stories, someone from our podcast, or someone who listens to our podcast, was relocating from New Jersey, moving to Sacramento.
And they reached out to Joey.
They heard about Joey. They went through him.
They got their
Found
house.
their dream house in Sacramento.
It's so cool. And I think he
That's
just
cool.
closed on another house. And a lot of people are enjoying working with Joey. So if you're looking to buy or sell your home, and it can be in Sacramento, he's helped people to Folsom, to anywhere.
Yeah.
So you can just hit him up. Make sure to go to his website.
Yeah, jreagan.golion.com. That's jreagan.golion.com. You can also hit him up on his cell phone. Call or text him at 916-412-4592. That's 916-412-4592. We appreciate everyone's support. The Deuce and Mo podcast.
That's us.
So you like the transition take, Val?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I thought his reaction to it was a little interesting when you did ask him about it. Like, he was like, oh, yeah, like, we'll have to work on this part about it. And I was like, oh, I would just be excited for the game, especially when you do have someone as fast as De'Aaron Fox on your squad.
It's probably like, man, our team is going to struggle with defense at times. That's tough. That was a weapon we could use.
Maybe.
I mean, think about it. I don't know.
Yeah. But no, he doesn't think that of his team. Top 10, baby.
Oh, man. Marcus in the chat says, what the F? LOL, that soundbite. Yeah, that's Mike Brown screaming on Media Day.
Come on now. You got it's going to drop a lot, especially because Deuce has control of the soundboard.
Steven says, Deuce is going to come through looking like Mark S. Allen one day.
Oh.
I mean, the guy, how old? He's like 50 and looks great. He's looked the same for a long time.
He looks great.
Yeah. Think he has a lot of skincare? Cool.
I do.
Okay. I don't know why you're looking at me like that. Hey, let's talk some other NBA topics. Can the Suns be fixed? I'm really shocked by what is happening with the Phoenix Suns right now, including today. Like, I'm not even talking about the Robert Sarver thing, which is a massive deal for this organization. But I'm talking about just from a basketball standpoint, what happened in Game 7, the whole Ayton thing that was weird. Jay Crowder is not there. And then today we learned more where DeAndre Ayton told the media that he hasn't spoken to Monty Williams. I haven't spoken at all ever since Game 7 against Dallas. That was according to media reports out of Phoenix today. Monty Williams said, I haven't talked to a bunch of our guys. I just wanted to give everybody a break.
Bizarre.
Okay, a break? That was 4+ months ago. Give him a week. Give him a week, sure. I mean, they obviously had that conflict in Game 7, but I am stunned for a number of reasons, right? Like, this is a team that has been very successful over the last couple of years. It seems like they've got a tight bond. And something went to shit. And maybe it didn't go. We don't know exactly. Maybe there's more to this story because the way it ended for them last year and to see how that has bled into this year with Ayton thinking maybe he's going to the Pacers. They matched a deal. cost him some money. They could have just re-signed him. So maybe there's still
Jay
frustration there.
Crowder.
But with Monty and DeAndre, I'm sorry, that cannot be an issue on week 1 of training camp. That has to be squashed months and months ago.
That's it.
I don't know. Maybe when you match the offer sheets?
It has to that's a great point right there. Why hasn't it been solved? Especially, Deuce, with someone like Monty Williams, who we got to talk to Ryan Anderson a little bit more deeper on Monty Williams, his relationship, what he's done, blah, blah. We know how the league feels about Monty Williams. So how is Monty Williams not capable? Plus, having leaders like Chris Paul, veteran leaders like Chris Paul on the squad to maybe help squash this too. That's why I'm so confused.
Monty Williams and Chris Paul are the two that immediately I go, where are you at?
It's confusing.
And that's weird to me.
Uh-huh.
It'd be one thing if they haven't been able to get through to Ayton, and it's like, okay, this is a deeper thing, but they got to figure it out. But I don't. These are terrible vibes. We've spent the last couple of days talking about, I don't know how to get out of 2 days of Kings training camp. What does it mean? Good vibes? But when there are bad vibes. And bad vibes going into the season is awful. And I think hoping that it's just going to get worked out by playing games, that to me seems like a fairy tale. Okay? It's possible. Maybe you just get out there and it's like, hey, we win. But that's the thing. What if you don't? And then it just gets worse. And then all of a sudden, it's that snowball effect, and their season is a complete and utter mess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like the clock's a ticking here, and it should not be an issue right now. I am stunned that Monty would say he really hasn't talked to a lot of the guys, and that he has not talked to DeAndre Ayton since that to me makes zero sense. There's got to be communication.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. They're trying to win championship here. This is what the hell?
And not only that, you talk about what they're trying to do and accomplish as a team, of course. But Chris Paul also, as an older individual, is also understanding what he has left in the tank, right? And even if he believes like, no, I'm in the best shape or whatever's happening, you still need your team to help you out. And right now, it just doesn't seem like there's much of this team atmosphere there. They don't seem like they're on the same page. And I'm telling you, the fact that Monty Williams is involved in this and that it hasn't been squashed is what is so confusing to me, because he seems, I don't know him personally, but he seems like the type of guy who understands the importance of squashing this before training camp. So...
And it is 100% unacceptable for a coach not to have communication with players. I understand giving a break, and I'm sure that happens in the NBA. I'm not acting as if like during an off season, like Mike Brown and De'Aaron Fox are like having a Zoom meeting. Hey, let's we got our weekly at a Tuesday at 11 in the off season. Like, no, that's not happening. But I mean, especially with how the season ended and there was friction between Ayton and Williams in that game 7 when he got benched. Dude, are you kidding? Like, I'm stunned.
So this is bad, but at the same time, I do still have this feeling that it could be fixed. And only because they have the people they have. But then you think about DeAndre Ayton and the contract and how he can't even be traded until after January. And then if it was that time, he would have to agree to the trade. I believe that's how the contract is structured. And it's just like you have to make things better.
Yeah,
you have
gonna
to
pout
do anything
and tell
you
them?
can. Yeah.
But,
I don't know. But hey, it's bad in Phoenix, but it's bad in other places.
And DeAndre, he really wanted to go to Indiana. And that's another weird dynamic with like Roy Hibbert was answering questions. Roy Hibbert. Oh my God. Roy Hibbert. Miles Turner. Oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah, we went back to 2012. Those sucks and Roy Hibbert real fast.
When you said that, I was like, wait, did I miss something?
Miles Turner's being asked about it.
Oh,
and he's like,
God.
well, I feel like I've been in trade conversations for like 4 to 5 years.
Totally
but
fair.
that's weird. They literally like, yeah, we love you, Miles. Oh, we're going to sign DeAndre to a max offer sheet. It's the NBA for you.
That's the NBA.
If you're in the chat, by the way, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. It just helps our channel grow big time. The other side, the Nets had drama this offseason too.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the Kyrie thing. Kevin Durant.
That-
the ultimatum. How their season ended. What the hell? So
Ben Simmons.
Nash talked about his relationship with Durant today.
Yeah.
He says, we're fine. We're good. Ever since we talked, it's been like nothing's changed. I have a long history with Kevin. I love the guy. Families have issues. We had a moment, and it's behind us. That's what happens. It's a common situation in this league. We're all hurting, seething to go through what we went through last year, not being able to overcome all that adversity. Sometimes you lose perspective because you expect to win, but the reality is we were able to talk and discuss what we can improve on from last year and also keep perspective. We went through a ton of stuff.
They're a step ahead. They're communicating. We were able to talk and improve. Like you want to hear that. And in some ways, I do believe Steve Nash. I think sometimes Kevin Durant is just misunderstood too by everyone that doesn't know him. I could also be wrong. But that was a lot. And to say that it's a common issue or a common situation in this league, it's not a common situation when it's a player to the caliber of Kevin effing Durant. And that is what, and I guess the market that they're into, like I would say that's where their situation felt a little bit more dramatic, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and I think the one thing I'd point to with this situation is it's very Steve Nash goes back with Durant. Nash has credibility. He's won MVPs, and I know he's not thought of as some great head coach at this point in time. I'm sure he's technically on the hot seat going into the year, but I think Nash would respect Kevin Durant would respect Nash. And also, we've seen situations where star players have demanded trades before. Kobe Bryant demanded a trade from the Lakers. Well, I mean, we don't really talk about that, right? Because he stayed with the Lakers. Like, there was a time where it was like, Kobe was gone. There's a lot of teams who he's out. I think it was Chicago, if I remember right. It looked like it was almost a done deal. So these things can be patched up. And I'm sure Durant could be fine, but there's so many components when you look at the Nets, when you think about Kyrie, when you think about, okay, what is Ben Simmons going to be able to provide? Even if Ben Simmons seems like he's in a great headspace right now, not playing competitive basketball for this long, like it's going to be a little weird.
It is. And that's someone I'm rooting for too. I really am. I know so many people around the league and fans just have wanted to shit on him for so long for so many things, but not only listening to that podcast with JJ Redick, but it's just like he's good for the league. So you should want some good basketball being played, especially when he's playing with guys like Kevin effing Durant and Kyrie Irving. That's someone who I'm very curious where his game will be. Kyrie's.
Yeah.
There's times where
really good.
He doesn't let you down at all. And then there's times he can't stay on the floor because of so many different reasons and health.
So Markieff Morris, one of the newcomers on the Nets, offered his perspective today about the Nets drama. Mm-hmm. Quote of the Sench.
Yeah, please.
That's the NBA, man. You break up with a girlfriend, you get back with her, same shit. You have your differences until you figure it out. I broke up with my wife a couple of times. We're still married.
I love that. I'm happy for him and his wife that they kept figuring it. Hopefully it wasn't toxic and awful. I hope it was just like, they went through their rough patches and they figured it out. Cute perspective. Nash also mentioned family as well. Families go through this stuff.
Yeah.
So, they are looking at, what I like is that they're trying to be mature about it and just be like, it's a situation we're all working through. And I really do appreciate that it has been worked through. And we'll see how it translates.
I hope so, because that should be a compelling team in the East.
Well, that and because you do want to see going forward this be able to happen with teams and players. They're able to reach some sort of agreement and be like, let's get over this. We're all humans. We have, different ideas, different ways we want to look at things, but let's collaborate and make things work.
Shout out to everyone watching us live. We appreciate people being here as we ramp up for the NBA season. Someone in the chat mentioned that. Let's see here. I think it was Homer James. Deuce and Mo on at 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. It must be fall and the start of Kings basketball. Yes. Also, some love goes to our guy Patrick, who became a member on YouTube.
Give me a hell yeah. Wait,
Maybe
you're done with Steve?
Maybe it's replaced it.
Oh, okay. We're going with Mike now. I like it right now. It's fair.
You're not on board with the Mike Brown scream.
I also liked his "Let's go."
Okay.
We'll have to get another button for that.
Yeah. Andres in the chat says Kevin Durant can't hoop, no doubt about it. Glad he's not sitting out. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That was gonna bum me out. The news that did bum me out today was about Lonzo Ball. Dude, this thing is bad. It came out today that he did a Zoom thing. He's in Los Angeles right now, getting ready to have another surgery on his knee. He said it's scheduled for Wednesday. He says there was a point where we would warm up and stuff, and I would go through certain days and it would be fine. Then whenever I got to real basketball activities, I just couldn't do it. Unfortunately, this is what at hand, and it has to be dealt with. We feel like surgery, again, is the best option. Apparently, he was having issues, like, right now just being comfortable at all.
Yeah.
Like, not even just playing basketball. He said he can't run or jump at this point in time.
That's so sad. It's so awful because that is someone that we especially saw at times with Chicago.
Dude.
Well, I mean, only 30 games last year, 30-something, 35.
He was really good with them.
Yeah. And it was fun, right? It showed off some of his playmaking ability, and then his long arms and the passing lanes and the way that they could deflect and fast break. He made things fun, and that's a guy too. Although his dad and so many people had a certain perspective of his entire family, that's fine, whatever. That's also someone that I do enjoy watching on the court, and I want to see him out there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you want to go back to draft time, all that weird hype that was happening. But, dude, also, I think my perspective on his dad has changed so much over the years. That guy is the biggest cheerleader.
His number one fan.
It's not like I have to agree with everything he says, but, dude, you know what?
Don't.
He said his guys were getting to the NBA. All of his kids got to the NBA. LiAngelo has a training camp deal with the Hornets this year.
Pretty impressive.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And, Lonzo, if he would have just stayed healthy, it's the what if game. I just think he's a really good player. I'm not surprised. I thought he could be pretty good, but my thing with him before the draft was I just think no matter what, his ceiling may not be as high as others. His floor, he's just going to be a good player in the league, worst case scenario. And that's what he turned into, is just like he could distribute, he could score a little bit. He improved the shot. His defense is really good. I like his game.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully, I don't even know what to say about his injury, right? Because you're just hoping if he's in pain when he's not playing, one, I just want him as a human being to not feel pain.
Yeah.
But two, I want him to be able to play basketball at a high level still, with obviously better health.
Yeah. And it's just, when you see these guys miss so much time, and it's just like, man. And then you hear the stories where, so many times when we look at these injuries, like, okay, when can they get back and play? And like Lonzo at this point is like, when can I just get back to like moving in life?
Sleeping comfortably.
Yeah, just like, it's a little more serious than that.
Hey, and this is what we talked about yesterday a little bit, why those 9th, 10th guys in the rotation are going to be just as important. I mean, they are just as important now. Like, you look at so many of these teams, and it's like, if healthy, they're going to accomplish this. If healthy, they can do this. A lot of teams, a lot of guys aren't healthy at times. They're doing a lot of things to their body at such a different level. It's a new era of the NBA. And so having that depth is so important.
You like that Kings depth, huh?
I like it. It's the Kings haven't had that in forever.
How was Davion's shot looking today? You were watching it. What do you think?
Shut up. No defense. It looked good.
It looked good, huh?
Oh, it totally looked good.
Knocking down some threes?
I'm not getting excited. I'm just
saying.
Yeah, no, his shot. It was funny. I tweeted it out. And
Yeah.
someone was like breaking it down, and he had no defense on him or anything. And they were just like, look at that. No gather, just straight into the shot, or just something like that. Their breakdown was. And I was just laughing because I'm like, it was 2 seconds of Davion shooting.
Yeah.
People are that excited, man.
Dude. Should be fun.
Yes. Yeah. Should be fun.
Deuce
right?
Mason said September 27th. What am I going to be saying on November 8th? You know? Hey, it's early, guys. I mean, look, you got to get to the 20-25 game mark.
I am going to be around that 20 game mark when I can make my decision. I'm not going to get too high, not going to get too low before that.
The final tally, the late tally here on that poll question from earlier.
Yeah.
Who do you think the Kings' third option will be? It's now up to 41% of people say Keegan Murray. Barnes is at 29% and Heurter at 27%.
I would love the breakdown of why people feel that way so strongly about Keegan.
Yeah.
Already. Is it just prisoner of the moment, like summer league, or is it you really feel like he is NBA ready to do that?
I think he's NBA ready.
I do too, but to do that,
I don't know.
Be that? Okay, wait and see.
Say
it.
No, I would not pick him as, he's going to be the third option this upcoming season.
Yeah.
Could he late in the year develop into that? Sure. I don't know if I would say that at the beginning of the season, like, hey, he's going to definitely be their third option to start the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it may take him a second. He's a rookie.
There's a lot of confident people in that poll that we have.
Yeah, I mean, it's 41%. It's not like it was like 73%.
A lot of confident
Morgan.
people clicking that button.
So stupid. Cool in the chat says, I can't wait to see Malik Monk. We haven't seen any windmill dunks in a long time. You know, something I failed to mention from Media Day that De'Aaron Fox is talking about, people are asking him, obviously, about reuniting with Malik Monk and like, how was that? You know, have you had any fun plays? And he was just saying their connection is so strong. He says they can throw passes to each other that they can't really throw to anybody else. Like they just had the timing with them, the chemistry. I'm like, that's interesting. I want to see that. I want to see some of those highlights we saw at Kentucky.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
I mean, I think it's possible. Think about it. They're both better players now than they were then even. So there's no reason why that connection should be lost.
Yeah. I feel like we spent so much time. I don't think we focused a lot on Malik Monk over the last couple of days.
We haven't. Why haven't we?
I don't know.
I think sometimes too, when we start talking about the starters, the conversation, the angle goes toward Keegan Murray. And then also when we talk about them, I think there's a lot of us that feel very confident in Kevin Heurter and his ability because what we saw obviously with the Hawks.
Yeah.
So with Monk, I mean, how has he ever even been really a starter?
Not really. He started some last year, but really before that, he was a bench guy. And that doesn't mean he can't evolve into a starter. I mean, I don't know. I've had some people push back in like our YouTube comments about it, like going, no, Monk's going to start. What are you talking about? I'm like, maybe. I just think you probably go with Heurter and his size in the starting lineup, his ability. You could switch it a little bit more. Not to say that Monk can't defend at all, but I think Kevin provides a little more size.
Sure.
I think Monk off the bench is awesome.
Oh, it's totally
but
awesome.
Could he go win the job? I don't know. Someone's like, well, you paid him $10 million. I'm like, yeah, I mean, Kevin Heurter makes like $15 million too. So if you're basing it on money, I don't know if you'd say that.
Don't base it off money.
But it could go the other way. I mean, Herter's come off the bench in his career too. So I would give the edge to Heurter.
That's it. And I think that's why, if anything, when we have been discussing a lot of starters and those angles lately, Monk isn't the first to come to mind.
And Monk has the mindset to come in and like be ready off the bench. Like he's comfortable doing that.
And if he ended up starting, I wouldn't be mad. You know what I mean? I would be like, oh, okay, there's something else he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Or there's something else that they like that they want to make sure Kevin Heurter's in the second unit. Like,
also, I think those two are going to be playing together too.
I do
think
too.
You're going to see Monk at the shooting guard spot, and then of course Heurter move over to the small forward.
I think we're going to see a lot of different lineups.
Let's go.
But then hopefully once they figure out the couple lineups that they do like, there's more of that identity that is being built with them. Because I've seen way too many Kings teams where it's just like random guys at the just too many lineups.
Burman says, who would be the backup point guard if Mitchell and Fox started? I just don't see that happening. And maybe I'm missing something there.
Who would be, though? I mean, you have
I just think you would stagger the minutes.
Well, I mean, Dellavedova is on your training camp roster.
yeah, I don't think you're gonna be like, hey, we're running the 3-point guards. I mean, that just
No, I know, but I'm just I was saying if that was the case, which I don't. That's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in that.
AC says, feels like Keegan will have a ton of open looks, can knock down open shots, and has a knack for converting down low and hits free throws. So that's why AC is so confident. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you mentioned his skill set. He still has to do it at the NBA level too. But yeah, I'm confident that he's going to be able to. I think he's going to be nice right away. I do. I'm not ready to be, he's going to be like number 3 for sure. I think it's just good that you have a lot of, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of guys who could do that. Eddie wants to know, what about when Barnes is sitting out, who plays 3? I think that's Kevin Heurter for sure. I mean, I think we did see Terrence Davis play 3 at times. I mean, they're smaller lineups. I think the one thing with this Kings roster over the last couple of years, I don't think they had like much versatility. I think they have much more versatility now, much more athleticism on the roster that they haven't had the last couple of years.
In that athleticism alone, again, when you have one of the fastest people in the league leading the way with the ball in his hands, people can run with him. That can create something that so many teams don't know how to stop, especially in the beginning, right? That transition defense. It's not easy unless you have it down, unless you've established that as a team. And there's going to be teams that haven't been able to work on that with a really fast Kings squad.
Well, we're going to be live again tomorrow night. Thursday night at 7 p.m. We'll talk some more NBA. We'll talk some more training camp as we get closer to the start of the NBA season. Just bring it on, please.
Let's go.
Let's talk some games. Let's have some fun this year. We love you guys, but we got to go.
You're all badass for joining us. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Oh, and happy birthday, Jesse. I love you. See ya.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.